Hello all, welcome to AutoBot YouTube channel. Myself Rahul. Today we are going to learn about the entire execution flow of GitLab runner. So as a DevOps engineer, it is very important to understand how GitLab runners are executing, what are the configurations required, and what are the different tokens like registration token, GitLab runner token, and job token. Right. So what is the importance of this token and what is the expiry of these tokens? So all these topics we are going to cover today. So if you're a beginner, there can be confusion. Like once you do a registration of a runner to GitLab, whether GitLab instance is going to push the job to GitLab runner or GitLab runner will pull the job from GitLab instance. Okay, so that is a common doubt that everyone is having. So in this video, I'm going to explain you like what is the entire execution flow from GitLab to the GitLab runner and from GitLab runner to the executor, right? So I have prepared a simple documentation based on the official documentation from GitLab. So if you want to refer to the official documentation from GitLab, you can directly go to GitLab runner docs. So you just need to search with the runner in GitLab docs. Then you will get this workflow. Okay. So the same thing I copied to my document also. So this is the workflow steps. Like first we have the GitLab instance. So this is the GitLab instance, and we have the GitLab runner service, and GitLab runner service will communicate to the executor. So those who have already registered a GitLab runner with GitLab, you should be aware like while doing the registration, it will ask for an executor. Right? You can either select Kubernetes or you can select Docker or you can select Shell or other options are there. So that is this executor. Okay. So how the communication will happen is like in GitLab, if you go to GitLab, you can go to settings, then you can go to CI/CD. There you will get the runner option, right? So first you have to select the runner registration. So maybe I go here CI/CD. Here you can see create a project runner. Okay. I'm just clicking on this. You can give any tag. So this tag is nothing but the representation of a runner. Okay. So when you tag a runner and if you use this tag in any of the job, automatically GitLab will understand you want to execute that particular job using that specific runner. Okay. So that is the purpose. Maybe I'm just going to keep it like a tester. Okay. I'm just giving it like test runner. Okay. If you want to protect it or log only to this particular project, that also you can do. Or if you want to pose a runner, that also you can select. Okay. And maximum timeout also you can choose here. I'm not going to enter anything. Okay. So once you done that, it will ask for the operating system, where you want to run this runner, whether it is Linux or Windows or whatever it is. I'm not going to select anything. So here is an important step, like the registration step will start from here. So here you will get a token. Okay, so this token is very important. And so what you have to do, you have to copy this uh, command and you have to execute it in the runner instance. Okay, wherever you want to register the runner at, there you have to run this particular command. So once you've done that, you will get a runner token, and that token will get copied to config.toml. Okay, so that is an important token that will get reside in your config.toml for a long period. Okay, then after that you have to just run the GitLab runner run command to make the authentication and run your runner. Okay, so let me go here. I will again detail the steps here. So what will happen? Like the GitLab will generate a command with the authentication token. Then we have to execute that in GitLab runner, okay, with the registration token. Then what will happen? So once you execute that, it will be post command API/v4/runner with the registration token. And once that particular registration token is authenticated, the runner will get registered in the GitLab. Okay, registered with the runner token. Okay, that runner token will get added to your config.toml file. Okay. Then what is happening? Like the next question can be like how GitLab runner is able to get the job from GitLab, right? So in the correct process, like GitLab is not pushing any job to your GitLab runner, okay? But instead, GitLab runner will use a method to always look into GitLab instance to identify the job and it will pick it up, okay? So here you can see there is a loop, right? Job requesting handling. So what will happen? Like it will uh, from GitLab runner, it will send a post request to GitLab instance like API slash v4 slash job slash request with a runner token. So this runner token is in config atomic file, right? So if there is a job available, then what will happen? It will GitLab instance will respond back to GitLab runner job payload with a job token. Okay, so this job token is a short period of token, which is allocated for a particular job. Okay, then it will get passed to GitLab runner. Then that job payload will get passed to your executor behind the GitLab runner service, right? So here the job payload will get passed to your executor. Then executor what it will do using the job token whatever passed from GitLab, right? It will use a job token and it will clone the sources from the GitLab. Okay. Then what it will do, it will download whatever the artifacts that is required for the execution. That also it will do using the job token. Okay. So once everything is done and the job execution is completed, what will happen? Like executor will pass the job output as well as the status to the GitLab runner. So GitLab runner will do the orchestration process. Like executor will pass the status as well as the output to the GitLab runner, and GitLab runner is going to update the GitLab instance with the output as well as the job status. Okay, so this part is very important. Like actually, executor doesn't have a direct access to update anything in GitLab, but executor will directly contact GitLab runner with the job status and all these details, and those details will get updated to GitLab by the GitLab runner. Okay, so this is the basic overview of how the execution is happening. So only one important thing is like GitLab runner will pull the job from GitLab, and GitLab instance is not pushing any job details to GitLab runner. Okay, so let us understand what are the different tokens available. One is the registration token, and next is runner token and job token. So registration token, I just explained like when you try to do the registration of GitLab runner, right? GitLab instance will create this registration token. Okay, and once you execute that registration command within your GitLab runner instance, automatically it will generate a runner token. Okay, so here you can see registration token, scope, GitLab instance, group and project, and how you need to rotate, you need to manually rotate that. Then purpose for registering the runner. Okay, then runner token, runner identity. So it means that runner token will get append to your config.toml file, and it is a long-lived token. And whenever if runner wants to pull a new job from GitLab, right, it will use this runner token for the authentication, and it will request for a job. Okay, and what is job token? It's a single job, like the scope of that particular job token is only within that single job, and it's a short lived until the execution completes or until the job execution gets completes. And what is the scope? Like for cloning the repository, artifacts, and update status. So all this process will be handled by the executor, right? Then updation of the status again it will be done by GitLab runner service, right? So again, I'm going to explain you the step-by-step process how it is going to happen. Like first is the runner registration, GitLab runner. You will use this method or the API for doing the registration, and the runner register itself with GitLab, right? So it is like establishing a trust between GitLab and the runner, and response or runner token. So what is happening? Like GitLab will give a runner token as part of the registration, and that runner token will get add to the config.toml file. So this is a long-lived identity for the runner. Then next is the job request loop. So like the scope is or the initiator is a GitLab runner. GitLab runner will initiate that job request loop. So it is using this endpoint for requesting the job from GitLab instance, and it is using the runner token for the authentication. And runner polls GitLab asking for available job. So the process is very simple. Like GitLab runner will poll or try to access GitLab instance using the polling method to identify whether any open jobs are available. Okay, if it is there, it will pick up that job. So pool-based job scheduling, firewall friendly. And next is a job assignment. GitLab assignment will be done from the GitLab instance, and the job response, and it is using the job token. and GitLab sends a job payload and a job scoped token, okay, and secure least privilege job execution. So what is it mean? Like once it identify a job available, right? Then what will happen? GitLab will initiate a token, and the token will get passed to the GitLab runner with all the details, like whatever the payload and artifacts is required for the execution. It will pass everything to the GitLab runner service. And job dispatch, GitLab runner, and job pass job payload. Runner hands job details to the executor. Okay, so once GitLab runner receive all the details, it will get passed to the executor, and separation of orchestration and execution. Like GitLab runner service will work as an orchestrator, and executor will run as an execution part. Okay. Okay, so next is the source checkout. They are like executor will initiate that, and it will use a git clone method using the job token, and it will pull all the source code and all the artifacts from the GitLab instance repository. The repository is cloned inside the execution environment, and secure access to repo without user credentials. So what will happen? Like executor maybe a shell or within a Docker or Kubernetes. What will happen? Like it will use the job token and pull the source code from your GitLab instance, right? So you don't need to pass any user credentials for the authentication. It will just use the shortly the job token for the authentication. Next is the artifact download. So who is the initial executor, and artifact fetch? It will fetch whatever the artifacts is required. Just consider you have two jobs, A and B. If B is related to A, then it has to pull whatever the artifact generated from the job A, right? So it will pull all the artifacts from job A using the job token, and it will get downloaded to the particular instance, executor instance. Okay. And the job execution, like who will initiate, executor will initiate that, it will run whatever the scripts required. Job scripts are defined in the GitLab CI.YAML are executed. So this is the file where we are writing all the jobs, right? All the pipelines. So based on that, it will execute whatever the scripts required, and will execute using the executor. Access CI/CD workload execution. Okay. Then a result collection, like executor will pass it to runner, a runner will pass it to GitLab instance, like logs and exit status send up to runner, centralize the job control, and GitLab runner will update the status as well as the logs to GitLab instance, okay, using job update API. And here also it is using the job token. But here one interesting thing is, like from executor to runner, there is no authentication required or no job token authentication required. Whenever if you want to make a communication with GitLab instance, then only you require this job token. Okay. So this is how the communication is happening. Like I hope you got a clear clarity about the GitLab runner workflow. This is very important, and we need to clearly understand how this flow is happening. If you have any doubts about this execution flow, please put in the comment section. I can help you. So thanks for watching the video. Bye.